Welcome to the webinar. Before we start, let us introduce each other first. My name is Humanitarian Genome. I'm you now from Humanitarian, sitting next to Tel Aviv. And me here is talking to us from the Netherlands. Hello, Elizabeth. Eurovision, but no, it's the Humanitarian Genome. Running at university right now.
Before with the content, I would like you to take you a little bit through the agenda of this webinar. Just to give you a short idea of what the topics are that we will be going to address. We first would like to take you, after this introduction, a little bit to tell you a little bit about the background of the Humanitarian Genome, why we decided to initiate this project, how we've done to develop this search engine, and then once about the genome, we would really like to show you how the genome works. If you have not already done that, we will in a minute. And for how you can use the Humanitarian Genome, of course. So what are the functionalities and how can you make searches that are of interest to you? I'll have a look at some of the questions and comments that you posted during the webinar. We're not going to have time to answer all, but we'll make some time to answer some of these questions, and after the webinar we will also attend to the questions that we did not answer at that time. This is about the agenda. First question I might have is why the Humanitarian Genome? Why we initiate the Humanitarian Genome? Well, I think it's knowledge that the humanitarian sector is faced with a couple of challenges, coming both from public and private donors, the media, etc., etc. And we identified two challenges that were important for us in our decision to start with the Humanitarian Genome. These challenges are related to demands to improve the sector's performance and accountability. So the challenge, I think, is quite familiar to all. That humanitarian organizations are asked to learn from previous humanitarian experience, for example by means of evaluations, particular projects, or meta-reviews of interventions in particular crisis contexts, such as, for example, earthquakes in urban settings. And the idea is, of course, that these lessons learned from previous aid experience is incorporated in ongoing and future humanitarian activities. The increasing demand for evidence-based humanitarian programming in the sector. Humanitarian asked and expected to collect and analyze context information and other types of data to make informed decisions about their activities. Well, all these challenges, I think, they're not new to us. Know that there are obstacles to meeting these challenges. And this is not so much because there's a lack of information, because both require the sector to work with information and use information to make decisions. Information is not lacking at all. There are all kinds of documents and resources one can use. Available aid experiences are documented, but we know that they are not utilized to their full potential. Issues, for example, in flood-affected areas, it might be very easy to find documents addressing these issues. We know there are many platforms that gather these experiences for us, and they get search options in that regard. However, once you have these documents, you have to go through them, and this might be a reason that evaluation of documented experiences such as evaluation reports are not happening that often. You have a pile of reports often, and you have to start searching these yourself. There's a substantial time investment. This is, of course, exactly what's often lacking in the sector. So it's so surprising that it can be quite difficult to meet these challenges for learning and evidence-based programming in the sector. Given these challenges, we decided to initiate the Humanitarian Genome project. Well, about what the Humanitarian Genome is. Has been funded by the is still funded by the Humanitarian Innovation Fund, aims to tackle this problem of time-consuming information searching. Our aim is to facilitate quick and frequent and high-quality information use in the sector to support learning and evidence-based programming. What is it exactly? You all know already a little bit about it. You have had our link to the website. And already as a search engine. Search engine tailored to the humanitarian sector, humanitarian organizations, aid workers, but also humanitarian experts in different fields or advisors in different particular dimensions of humanitarian aid, consultants and researchers. Search engine a set of evaluation report, but the search engine will contain documented experiences from all kinds of sources. But in this beta version that we now present to you today, you find 9 evaluation reports that are searched through the genome. This is a little bit like Google. You can type in search terms and then you will be presented with search results. But it's also a bit different to Google, otherwise we did not need to launch this new platform. The genome facilitates very swift and focused searches. And that's different to Google because we have made it very focused for you, but I will explain a little bit about that later. But if you have very focused searches, for example, to a sector like what's on a shelter, or by country, or particular issues on management or evaluation, Genome will present you in a split second with a set of text parts from these evaluation reports in terms are addressed. Through this enormous set of reports that you have identified yourself, we have already done that part of the job for you, and thereby I hope we save you a lot of time. The sector with information that's gathered in these documents to inform program decision making, evaluation processes, etc. The idea behind the genome. Well, work then? How to in a way that it gives you very quick access to information that is relevant to you. I try to explain a little bit to you what the main features of the genome in how it's structured and how we set it up. Later, Gamuta will take over to really show to you how it actually works. But I think relevant to know that genome makes a distinction between not so relevant text fragments from evaluation reports. So you could imagine long descriptions of how much aid was exactly provided to whom in a particular humanitarian project. A description would be that informative compared to more evaluative statements about what went well in a project, what might have gone. So we already made a distinction for you between these relevant and not so relevant text parts. And in the genome, you will find these relevant text parts. That already led to the new time to go through all these texts of the genome. A second important feature is that presented to you after your search, these have been text parts have been attached to certain codes or tags, and by this we mean labels that represent relevant topics in humanitarian aid. These codes, as we will show you later, will help you to make a very quick and efficient search. More codes and tags are really relevant in that they help you to identify text fragments from the reports that talk about a particular topic, but not necessarily mention this topic literally. For example, if you're interested in issues of community participation, you can use the code or the tag community participation to fit in the genome, and that you get texts presented to you that do talk literally of community participation, but they are an issue. So you get more results because go beyond literal searches. We would like to mention that these codes, these tags, are randomly decided on. We have them on insights, experience and expertise from the sector and from academic research. And these particular codes because they reinforce themes in humanitarian aid, not facilitators or barriers to effective or efficient humanitarian aid, or facilitators or barriers related to learning in humanitarian aid. They give again an extra direction of what is relevant to think about. Then we have trained a team to the tagging of these reports, of these 95 reports, and to that very thoroughly. So the tagging has been checked on quality and coherence and consistency many times in order to make sure that it doesn't matter who is actually giving a tag to a particular text fragment, but that we all use the same code scheme and the same definitions and the same understandings of these texts in order to ensure that you get similar results every for a particular theme. It is to present you the most relevant results first. How does this work? We have kind of made a hierarchy in the results that you will see. These are based on insights into learning in organizations. For example, imagine that a recommendation in a report that is very general and says, let's improve the human resource management systems, is not as informative as a recommendation that addresses which particular dimension of human resource management should be addressed, let's say recruitment, and how this exactly could be improved, for example, by changing the recruitment criteria. So in a sense, you will see the most, let's say, informative, the most information-dense text fragments first. Okay, this is a genome. You're probably quite curious to see how it works for yourself. So let's now move to the more practical side of things and see how we can sign up to the genome. Go through the registration. So how do you get started? Go to the opening page of the Humanitarian Genome, which is here. On this page, you can see, but on the left, a register button. So if you haven't registered yet, you click the register. You type in your email address and your organization, the organization that you represent. And this you need to know because, as you probably know, we have now a selected user group, so we need to check whether you are a full member or not. And press the sign up button. I get an email, and in this email you will see a link, and click and then get access to the registration part of the website. Here you see it. So I always want that I'm invited to accept the invitation here. Sorry. Registration part of the Humanitarian Genome. And ask you to fill in this part of the as detailed as possible. So make a username for yourself. Can a little bit better. And then you can set a password. All using the genome, that is really good for us to know. And then you click the button and get started with the genome. So I invite Gamutal to take over.
How the genome came about and what it is and how we developed it. It's about time that we see what we can do with it. So sign it up for your own needs, but it's different. Show you a few different ways that you can use the genome on these needs. They're available to everybody equally, but protogenome might be slightly different depending on what you do and what you're looking for. Two different scenarios, and relate to one or another different situation and the different times that you might need the genome. Of a practitioner. So let me tell you a little story about Jack. Jack, program coordinator of an NGO. He's working right now in Haiti. Have been reported again and again that the community have bitterly that they are not involved in of the WASH programs that Jack's organization is implementing. With these reports, Jack is of course a bit upset, but he's also very, very overworked, and he's not sure what he can do about this anymore. The complaint mechanism, and still, so now more complaints are coming in that the organization is not involving the community enough in the planning of their WASH programs. At this moment, and he has two options. On his own experience, and he can. The problem is a bit in a rural environment, and there's not many people that he can consult with. And also, and in the evening, they don't want to continue talking work. So now, the human allows Jack to do to very quickly review online within seconds. Get some inspiration about what can he do that he not thought of. So let's information. Jack enters the humanitarian genome, as you can see in the screen in front of you. First of all, for a WASH program, information program. So start typing in the humanitarian genome, the first two letters. Immediately, a drop-down menu opens in front of you. A drop-down menu represents the tags in the word written with quotation marks. We will talk about a little bit later. Without any quotation marks are tags in the system. And just that there is already somebody that thought about the word WASH or Watson and entered it into the genome. So he marks it. And that's the system right now. So the humanitarian genome. And the genome has found for him, within a split second, 675 experiences that talk about WASH. What necessarily does not mean that in these segments of text, the WASH he mentioned, a normal word search that you would enter into a PDF. So even if you're looking at an evaluation and you're looking for specific text that mentions the word WASH and you would enter it, you would not find these extra texts. What you see in front of you is WASH in the content of the text. But 75 experiences is far too much for Jack to handle right now, and he wants to narrow it down to his own particular interest. And his own interest is about community participation or community ownership. So, and different tags opening, options opening underneath. It's community participation. And just one of them searches the genome. The genome has narrowed down the selection from 600 and something to 34 experiences found. And he can handle a little bit more. I won't read now all what the segment says. It is a little bit interesting, but he starts reads the results, and he finds that the first segment is inspiring. Immediately, Jack goes to the right-hand pizza pie and clicks inspiring. When one of you enters the genome and sees that person or 20 people or 55 people click on this segment of text that it's inspiring, you will save you time to skim through the results of the genome. You might be more attracted to segments of text that are highly rated. Or we'll say not to read segments of text that are lower, less likes, or similar platforms. A segment interesting. Well, you enter this and look at it. One clicks here. In the original report, a lot of pictures and heavier. Therefore, it will take a few seconds more to open depending on your internet connection. And on the right-hand side of the report, you see 2 quotations. Rather than you finding where the actual quotation was taken from, you can click this link. The actual location highlighted to where the quotation was taken from. Not alter any of the text of the original report. It just cuts the snippet out, the tag snippet out. 34 experiences Jack finds more interesting than others that I would like to show you in this opportunity. Button. So as you know, we have 5 acronyms in our business. So instead of you needing to remember what UN means, you can actually scroll over and you'll see a little pop-up that tells you what you're looking at. Some complicated terms, not in here, for example. Identify different words that you might not recognize. This report so much, he wants to download it, and here he can. So the original report, you click it, started to my own computer. One who has read this segment of text, and has read a few other segments of text, and texts have said repeatedly that the way to participate is to sign some kind of agreement with the community. You can see that clearly in the second quotation. So Jack asked from his colleague to start drafting such an agreement. He wants to see one of you that are online right now using the genome, or come wait morning tomorrow and will use the genome, can answer his comment. Search. And check. You might see Jack's comment. You can send him and support him. Our aim is to create a community of practice that we can post questions, start debating, helping with crossing borders and cross-cutting professions directly, or you can start a discussion under the specific quotation. Now, as another scenario, we're going now to Sheila, the desk officer for an NGO headquarters. And her responsibilities, among many others, is to provide technical support to livelihood programs. Provide technical support to develop high-quality proposals. Did it to some of you? You don't need your hands, but I think they might. The desk which she organized and planned her day very early the day before, but the email that she opens in her email box is urgent, following the recent floods happened. We need some assistance in drafting proposals about livelihoods. Money has become available, and our team based in Asia asking for support and information on programs based in livelihood programs. They want to draft a proposal. Asking that the proposed program is sustainable and is based upon accumulated knowledge and is evidence-based. To spend hours in printing the genome, and using it, she can identify specific reports that are relevant to her colleagues. And so, in the search engine, Sheila is more familiar with the Humanitarian Genome. She goes to the advanced search. She rather than write different words in the search engine, use different tags that are already in existence in the system. Now I'll show you how to do that. First, the data, the difference in the Humanitarian Genome, and these on the actual reports in the system. So we have more reports in the system, more copies will become available. Disaster types. And the HD data that you want to extract. And this is basically grouping your searches. So you can extract information only about an evaluation process, methodological issues, the team construction, the terms of reference, etc. But the methodology, the evaluation process itself. Or you can extract and narrow your search only to look for program and organizational code, not logical issues about the evaluation. Negative practices or positive practices. Search to text that contains particular solutions or suggestions, not only giving you an account of what happened or what should have happened, but solutions and suggestions. Here, the search terms contain a lot of information that give you an idea of the tags already in the system. Now, not all the tags are listed here, but of the key tags and the different groupings that you might be searching for. Now, looking for livelihood, humanitarian sectors. Into the search bar on the top. Has found 62 experiences talking about livelihood, not mentioning the word livelihood, but talking about livelihood. So, writing these down again. To find, she's choosing the first tag. Marked in the research area, in the advanced column. There are some numbers appearing next to the difference. And these with tags are the two terms in the search bar. So getting ideas of how to search a genome and be triggered, your interest might be triggered to look at different combinations, search combinations. This is a lot, but she's lost, she's tired, she's not sure what to search for anymore. So she looks for inspiration here. When she into the toggle search code, when she clicks this option here, a selection of tags appear. These are the tags that that to this particular quotation. In order to get inspiration, what to search more for, further for. This, and she sees different tags, and she sees negative practices, and she doesn't want these. She does want positive practices. And selects positive practices. Experiences is something that you can. And the last 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 3 minutes, I think probably, that I was talking about this particular scenario, rather than spending hours of searching documents, Sheila can send this whole selection of results to staff in one country that ask for support. And there are many different documents here that's relevant to what they need to know. This is her own email, and the link is set already in her email browser to her friend. And then to tell you about, to show you this scenario about Lila. And Lila is an evaluator, and I know we have this evening a few evaluators with us and a few learning officers or people in different learning of the organizations. Researcher, evaluator, evaluating with her organizational learning team a gender-based program to simulate the evaluation results. Because there are problems. And again, we produce evaluations, but so she's looking for inspiration of how to do it differently. What was done before. So perhaps there are some experiences that she can learn from. But looking at 100 evaluations. 100 evaluations is almost from the door here to the beginning. Like all of those. So rather than doing that, like goes to genome, starts narrowing down the information. So she's looking for dissemination. Now she wants to be sure that she did only down to the evaluation process. Not talking about the program and organization, but only about the evaluation process. So found 17 experiences. Now Lila can go through these and compare and see different dissemination, different methods that were used by evaluators to disseminate their reports. If they would like to write recommendations, they can see what recommendations, what patterns of recommendations were written beforehand, look and conduct and write recommendations that are evidence-based, or have another layer, a deeper layer, compared to recommendations that were written already before. And finally, then I will move on. The last search tip that I have is what I promised that I will come back to. So for example, if she was looking at gender-based violence program, and now you start to appear as a tag. It only has quotation marks. Now what do these quotation marks mean? When a quotation marks option will work exactly as you do in any other PDF or document you're searching today. And it experiences that contain the word alcohol, highlighted, but gender-based violence. Mark option we call free search. Well, one we call tag or search. In where there are no tags, so for example, you can do research. It does tag, but we do not have, we have specifically the organization OCHA in the genome. If there are 0 tag results, you will see a search symbol. So only search for the words. So you'll not get 0 results, but you will actually get the word search. If you don't find a tag, try a free search. Or if you find a tag, still try a free search and see what different results you might get. And that's our point. So what we looked at is a tag-based search, a free search, a search menu on the left of the HG platform. I forgot, which is in the advanced search. I'll show you now. In you have third with memory of all your searches. That this morning I had this great search that I found exactly the results that I wanted, but I didn't write it down or I didn't email it to myself. I can still go back to my search history and find that search that I have collected this morning. When this is yet to come, so surprise. Be prepared. Then extract of text. We saw how you can see the report online with downloading it, and how the actual link is, the actual quotation is highlighted. You saw that we can load the original report. The print is another link that is in the genome under each quotation. Send that contains only the quotation itself to the individual that is that you want to share with them the quotation. This. And you can paste it in an email, or you can actually email the quotation itself. And does this process for you, pasting the link in the email directly. What is search code, which shows you how we have tagged the text, or gives you inspiration to what to search for, what you can search for. You can write a comment, and you can rate the segments of text to help people identify segments that might be of interest or not. Invite you all to use it. The more data we will have and you have to share with others. The more you use the comment option, the more you can help each other and share information. To record some information in the next 2 months to see how you're using it, what to improve, what is working, and there are some things that are not working, so expect some glitches, just like with any new system. Please use and comment on it. be prepared for surveys that we will send you. The first will be sent to you today, and I'm thankful, I promise. And next few months you will be asked to answer a couple of more surveys that will help us better understand what you think of the system. If you support us and spend answer surveys, we'll be able to improve it, and I promise you we're taking in your feedback and responding to it. Here's a system. Another way to provide us feedback, and this is more operational for the system itself, is using the user voice feature. In the Genome platform, there's a small megaphone on the bottom right here. And your thoughts, your comments, or something is not working, help, I don't know. And below, data validity, credibility, help me with, I have a suggestion, other something is not working, help me with. We will provide you with the help you need. Thank you, and I'm moving on, passing the stage to Elizabeth once again.
That a question was raised about who is the we in the tagging process. So maybe Gabutal, you can say something about that?
So who has tagged the quotations?
Yes, that seems to be the question.
Yeah. We had a team of researchers that we worked hard, and we have tears and sweat over this process. This coding which we did and retested again and again and again. So we got a high enough of validity, reliability, and replicability. So it was, let's say, around 5 different coders coded the same report with others' code, and then we compared our coding. System, an auto coding system, a qualitative coding system. So this is the we that coded. We did this for all the 100 reports that are now in the system. And this project has been going on, Lisbeth, for how long we have been doing this?
Now I think.
And a whole team of researchers. We did this in Groningen, in the university. Any more? I hope
question about the rating as well. Like we use this controversial, inspiring, and interesting labels. So how you can rate it. What does it mean, and why don't you use the label useful? Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Exactly. So we are very open to such suggestions. This question came up. We asked this question a few times. We were not sure about the rating and how we should go about this. What are the best to use something positive and something negative? We got some feedback that it's not necessarily, it shouldn't be negative, it should inspire discussion. We are going to try it, see what comes up. If we get a lot of feedback or any suggestions, we can play around with it and change it. We're very flexible like that.
So, suggestion. Thank you for giving it to us. A question about what is the timeline to add evaluations to the genome? So I understood that the question is it possible to still add evaluations to the genome for this particular beta version, or if not, what are the plans?
Okay. So the plans are many. We have a lot of plans and a lot of aspirations, right, Elizabeth? I think we have a lot the limit, the genome can contain an endless amount of reports. So we can put all the reports in the system. And that will be in the system. Just imagine Google. There's no limit to space. Now, for this version that you're going to use and test, and the more you will use it, the more opportunity there will be to add more reports. For this close right now. The user data, and once we see people are interested in using it and find it useful or have some opportunities to improve it, solid plan to how to go about that, we will be able to add more reports. For that, of course, we need more funding and more coding processes. Now, at this, I think it's a good opportunity to also add the fact that the mapping is because we have enough in the system. 100 coded reports is a lot, and we can create an automated coding system. So we're able to upload a report, this will code it, and then another layer of human coding will come on top of that, having a huge amount of time and a huge amount of money. We're letting go of this human factor of coding because you need that human eye.
Yeah.
And second layer after that will be that you, as the users, can also code. So this is kind of the progressing to version 3, etc. over the humanitarian genome. We see the line and how we see it progressing and growing.
Well, I think we have to start to go to the end of this webinar, given the time that's been reserved for the webinar.
Yes.
I would like to add that we have a whole user manual that people can look into. Look again at what are the specific options for using the genome. We will make this soon available.
It is available. If you show them the humanitarian genome itself.
It is already. Allow that.
It's trustworthy.
Yeah.
And you enter the genome online, and you can also download it.
Yes. So this is the manual.
I found this useful. If you have any questions, further questions, don't hesitate. Email us, both of us. We're available. Lisbeth, maybe you can write in the chat both our emails. Just to...
Well, our emails are at the end of the user manual. I will show you. Here it is.
Of course, is all of it is extracted from valuable evaluation reports. Now, one thing that we didn't say is how we got these reports. These reports were identified by your organizations as being underutilized and but important to use. So no more extra, not one extract of text is more important than another. All important, but relevant to what you're searching for in that specific given time. And give us as much feedback as you can on it. Thanks this evening, and has been recorded and will be available online on our YouTube channel, and you will be updated if additional will happen at a later stage.
And you'll leave us a little note in the chat box as you saw this webinar. We're curious to hear about.
Yes. Good night evening, everybody, or day. The webinar just starting.